Welcome, everyone. Do the Wheel Reads. Hey, season 12, episode 7.
Hi.
Let's go.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
What'd you say, Chris?
Co-captain? I was just being funny.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
There
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
Wow.
How's everyone doing tonight? Doing good? Nah.
Great.
Great.
I'm actually
I bounced back.
All right. There you go. Did my remedy help?
So I listened to Sister Hazel in the parking lot of the gym. It got me enough motivation to be like, F it, I'm going in the gym. I had a great pump in the gym.
Nice.
And well, I messaged these guys. I did 2 different workouts, not on purpose, but it was just the routine I was going through. 2 different workouts right next to my gym crush that I've had pretty much since I started using this gym. And like, it's so funny. I sit there and like, I make it a point to not make eye contact with the girls in the gym, like unless they specifically ask for help, just because, I'm sure that might feel uncomfortable enough. And there's all sorts of guys like just gawking at them, whatever. Anyhow. But like, you can't help but like turn and accidentally make eye contact. And there must have been like 40 million different times where like, I was like, look away. And then, and I'm thinking of all these like clever things to say or quick one-liners, just be like, hey, how's it going? I recognize you because we're always here. And of all those times, we made eye contact one time and I just awkwardly smiled and went, like that's all that came out. I was like, Ian, you idiot. But it was entertaining. I laughed at myself and I literally shook my head, smiled, and moved on to the next workout. I was like, I'm gonna walk away. Yeah.
There's a video I saw, a TikTok or something like that, where it was like, what if grown men act like
Chanel. Hi.
if
She
grown men act like little kids when it came to girls. And it was like 3 friends and they're peeking behind and every time the girls look, they duck back or whatever. They're like, hi, and they run off.
Right. That's what it feels like. But for the listeners, so when I message them, it's true. I don't think I'll ever talk to her because no matter what, it'll destroy the fantasy, and not like a giggity fantasy, just like a hee, she's cute, whatever. But like once I say something, once we start talking, it's like the Schrodinger. How do you say it? Schrodinger cat.
Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
It's the Schrodinger's gym girlfriend. Like once I speak to her, she either is or she isn't. Like there's either potential or there's not. Like right now, she's both just a gym buddy and
Do you remember Merritt at James River?
Yeah.
She would always, if there was a new guy at the pool, would like come up, not say anything, and she had a deeper voice, and like would do like the flirty thing, and like she thought it was hilarious because she would like come up and some guy would finally come and talk to her, and she like get all close, like I used to be a man.
Yeah. But she was really cute, which is what makes this very funny.
Yeah. I haven't seen her in years. I saw her at her funeral a couple years ago, randomly, but yeah. She was good friends. She was actually my prom date.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah, she was cool. And yeah, her brother, we lifeguard together. Will, but I haven't seen either one of them in years. So see their mom every now and then around town. But high school memories.
Those were the days.
Yes. So let's see what's going on personal life wise. So renovations did not start, although we have moved out of that space completely now. Anticipation now supposed to start yesterday, and no one showed up. And I called my contractor. He's like, "I'll give you an update tomorrow." So he called me today. So what happened was, it's actually kind of a legitimate reason. Like it's one thing. It's like, oh, I forgot. Like then I'd be like, okay, time to find a new contractor. But like he went to file for the permits with the city because whenever you do construction, you have to do permits because that's how it is. So he filed the building permits and they needed like a small revision. Well, the guy who does the blueprints, like the official blueprints, you have to get to the city because you have to do like the actual workup the certain way for the city permits. Had a heart attack.
Oh wow!
email. I was like, hey, can I get the update? And there was crickets. So he finally found out that one of his business partners, I guess, or one of his partners that he works with, was in the hospital.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
It's fine. It's fine, but that's what the delay's for, is because he's waiting on revisions, and the guy literally had a heart attack. So,
I guess we can okay that.
What's that?
I guess we can okay that.
Yeah, I mean it's
There's literally nothing he can do about that. Well,
yeah,
except for maybe better. Let me stop. I'll be the one to have a heart attack.
I mean, I don't.
Forgive me.
It's an older guy. I mean, like, so I don't know if it's that he's unhealthy or whatever. Like the guy he uses is older, but I don't know. I was like, okay,
I'm sorry. Yep.
So he said that he talked to the guy today. He's still in the hospital, but he brought his laptop with him apparently, so he should be getting the revisions either tomorrow or the next day. So hopefully by next week we'll be starting. But at this point,
he brought his laptop with him into the
hospital. Into the hospital. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a G.
Yeah. You get that work going. Trying to think of anything else. Going to Connecticut on Thursday night. Friday, so driving up to Connecticut. Yeah.
Cool. Work or
no death in the family. Not my side, but my wife's side. So we're going to a funeral.
That's right.
So
sorry about that.
So I mean, elderly relatives. It's sad. I never met this relative, but we're going.
Sure.
So Connecticut, here we come. If anybody's in Connecticut, I will not be hanging out with you, but I will wave from anywhere. Thank you, Wadaholic, for my loss. I guess I mean, it's a loss of the family. So yes, thank you. I don't know how to deal with that. Like, it's one thing if someone says sorry for a loss, and it's like someone that I really knew and dear to my heart. It's another thing I'm like, I never met this person, but like, thank you. Like,
yeah. Well, you could take this. You could always take the opportunity. When we had on my mom's side, grandma and grandpa that passed away there, they both lived, one into their mid-90s, the other just crossed 100. Yeah. And when everybody got together for that, it was like all the people from the family reunions when we were young and a lot of stories being told. And now, of course, now that they passed away, a lot of stories being told of stuff they never told us when we were kids. So there's an opportunity to learn a lot about the family.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So there could be, silver lining and bright side to it. And
yeah.
You might find out a lot about this person that you never knew.
Maybe we'll find out. But so that's what I'm doing. That's my personal life. Is just, getting ready to drive up to Connecticut, and then, and then renovations. How about you guys? What's going on with you guys?
Well, I'll finish what I was saying earlier about the good song that Alan recommended and hitting the gym and like just having a really good end of today. I forgot the beginning of the story is I called Alan right after work and I was driving home and it was the weirdest thing. I don't know if this has ever happened to you all. We've talked on here. I've been in funks before with all sorts of different things and some work, some money, some relationship stuff, some kid stuff that I worry about. But today was weird. I was fine all day. And then as I'm driving home, I just had like this deep melancholy, not like depressive, but there was a sadness to it. But I didn't know why. Like normally I know the reason. So I couldn't really put my finger on it. So Alan, somewhat jokingly, but recommended to be like, hey, here's a list of some happy-go-lucky songs. Put them on, blast them, see if that helps. I was already planning on going to the gym, so I kind of combined those two things, and it worked. Yeah. So, thanks, Alan.
I asked you. I was like, what do you do when you get a funk? He's like, I don't really know. I was like, you can go to the gym. He's like, yeah, I was planning on that. I was like, do you ever listen to music? He's like, I was like, do you want to like happy pick you up music, or do you want to like sit in it and like have depressive music? Because I can give you a bunch of recommendations on what to listen to.
Yeah, didn't want sad music. So I didn't want to be sad. And it wasn't really a sad feeling.
Yeah, but sometimes you want to sit in it. I don't know. So I was like, just put some music on. Go to the gym. Feel better.
Turn the volume all the way up. Yeah. So that worked. And then the other big thing in my life, and maybe subconsciously this is weighing on me more than I've processed or whatever, but they're really starting to crack down at work. Instead of just the once a week turning in the what we did to the Secretary of Defense email, we have to daily send to our supervisor like what we did that day.
Oh, wow.
And I think I told you all not that long ago, my supervisor changed. She got promoted into it. She's really fantastic and great at the job. And I feel horrible that right when she got started trying to fix everything in our branch, this crackdown and cutting employees and stuff happened. And I don't know that I feel like she's sharing everything that she finds out in the meetings with higher ups, which isn't much. Surprisingly, they've been very tight-lipped about how they're doing this. But I think the mood in the room with the higher ups at the agency seems very bleak. And as awesome as she is at the job, I don't know that she's ever had to deal with anything like this before. And she's seen the writing on the wall. Like, so when she has the meetings with us, like she's almost in tears talking to folks. You know, me, I'd hate to lose my job. I'd hate for anybody on our team to get let go because they're all good people. But like, I'm more of a let's rip the Band-Aid off and just figure this shit out. Like, what's it going to be kind of mentality. But she's definitely taking it to heart. So I feel bad for her. But yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's weighing on me some. Yeah, I don't know. I still feel pretty secure at my job. Like I joke around a whole lot. You might not believe it on here, but I'm pretty decent at my job. And gosh darn it, people like me. So,
Gosh darn it, people like me.
yeah. But there's that stress.
Chris is turning his 2 weeks notice at Truist. So
nice. I quit. You're cool.
I quit.
You're
gone.
cool.
You're not.
F you. You're cool. I'm out of here.
I literally. So it's kind of, I didn't mean to do it this way, but it happened this way. Like I was like, I have sick days. I'm calling out a couple days. I got some things I need to do. Really had a headache. So, was kind of sick, but ultimately not really. You can cut this out later. Okay.
Yeah.
But for Truist, you have to call your boss when you're going to be out at least 2 hours prior to your time to clock in. And so I was like, I'm going to wait right until I know the meetings are starting. And then I'm going to call her and just leave her a voicemail letting her know I'm not coming in. And she picked up the phone. So I was like, all right, well, also, like I'm giving a notice. So literally the 28th of March will be my last day. She's like, what? No. I'm like, yep, I'm out of here. I'm gone. Goodbye. So, yeah.
I do want to say I am thankful. I don't know if we started messaging first and then you told me about it, and that's when I called. But like right when Chris found out the news about the new job, I was talking to him or whatever. So I got to share in a little bit of that initial yeehaw moment that Chris was having. Man, and like you said, some of the stuff you shared with us about your current job being stressful and maybe the opportunities you thought you'd have not quite coming through, blah, blah, blah. And then to hear you talk about this new job and the potential there and what you're going into, and I mean, night and day. Yeah, I could hear you smiling through the phone, and so I was thankful I made that call.
Yeah,
happy for you, man.
On the plus side, I'm going to be down in Charlotte in April.
Ooh,
for
what
like,
are you gonna be like?
I'm gonna be in training. I told you this already. I think we talked on the phone about it. Like I'm gonna be there for 30 seconds. Like I'm literally I'm flying in the evening on a Wednesday evening, or maybe it's a Tuesday evening, having dinner with the team, going to bed, waking up first thing in the morning to do training, and then flying out that afternoon. Like, so it's like,
yeah,
fly in, eat dinner, go to sleep, train, go home. It's not going to be a long stay in Charlotte, but that's okay. It'll still be fun.
Next time.
It's not like Charlotte's that far away. It's not like that.
No, it's really not.
Since we've had kids, we don't go there as often. We used to go down there a lot because we have friends that live in Gastonia.
Okay.
Flav and Courtney. I don't know if you ever met Flav and Courtney. Yeah, but they live in Gastonia. He works for Wells in corporate.
Gotcha.
And she was an accountant, but I think she's a stay-at-home mom now. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, they live in Gastonia. So we used to go down there and visit them. But then we both started families, and then kind of was like, oh, this is complicated.
Yeah.
You always tell, well, at least me, I told myself, well, when I have kids, I'm not gonna let it slow me down, change too much. I'll just bring them along. But inevitably, like you get caught up in their activities and everything too, and it certainly changes stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's that they have a full house too, so it's like it's
Right.
tough because
How do
we
you
used to
make it
go and
work?
stay with them, but like
How do you
Now
make
you
it work
gotta
without
kids
it
in the
being
house?
wildly expensive? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing. This last
Anyways,
weekend,
yeah.
I had a friend that was doing a fundraiser concert, a bunch of local bands at a local dive bar in Virginia Beach. And I was like, all right, whatever. I got the kids. I'm a grown adult. I can do what I want. So we went down there, stayed the night in Virginia Beach at a decent hotel, made a little mini vacation out of it. And that Saturday night, we stayed at the bar from like 6 p.m. until almost 1 a.m. Like 5 different bands, a bunch of raffles. Both my boys got called up on stage with a couple of the bands a few times. I mean,
That's awesome.
they were just rocking out. And both of my boys had done like drum lessons and guitar lessons before, and it kind of faded and they were showing less interest. And like now they both got the bug again. They're like, that was awesome. Like I could totally do that. So we're going to start exploring the local music scene here in Richmond in places that are kid friendly relative. And this summer, look at getting both of them back into private lessons again. So
That's
it was
really
very cool. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool. Anyways, so you guys ready to talk about some of the time?
Sure.
You want to talk about the show at all? I mean, the show came out last week since last time we recorded.
All right. So you finally watched the 3rd episode.
Yeah, I've watched it all.
Can I tell you all my highlight out of all of it?
Go for it.
There were so many good moments. But when Matt dropped some old tongue, grabbed his bow staff, winked at Nynaeve, and went and beat the shit out of Galad and Gawain, and the looks on their faces, oh man, that was. I rewatched that scene so many times.
I was like, wait a second, he hasn't gone to Rodian yet, so why is he speaking in the old tongue?
Yeah,
but I think they're associating it.
Yeah, but Min had the view of him hanging. He was speaking the old tongue. He was speaking the old tongue before Rodian.
Yeah, that's true. But he's like speaking it fluently. I'm like,
yeah.
I guess because of the speed at which you're reading, it was like, wait a second, hold on a second. Did I miss something?
And they're definitely accelerating some things, and I actually like the pace of it. Like they brought in so many different things that happen in the books, and they added just enough twist to make it all work.
Yeah.
My only concern was there was so much going on. I was talking to Alan because he watched with Happy. Happy hasn't read. I was like, how does this feel for somebody who hasn't read? Is it too much? And
no, she likes it a lot. She asked me some of the because she hasn't read. She'll ask me something. She'll be like, "What is this? What is that?" And she'll see my reaction to things because I'll be like, "Ooh," and she's like, "Ooh, what's that?" I'm like, "I don't want to spoil
Easter egg."
Yeah,
Easter
egg.
Not
no, it's important.
Yeah. And I do like someone was saying like translation to old tongue. Like most of the scenes when Matt was speaking old tongue, it had the translation. Like if you put the subtitles on, I think even without subtitles, it had the translation on there. But when it did the Dovia Guns or the time to roll the dice one for the fighting scene, it did not translate that one. It was just in the old tongue. I was like, because fans know.
But that's cool. That's a wink to the readers that know. You know,
yeah.
That's their way of saying go read and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or an opportunity for the readers to shine because everybody else in the room's like, wait, what did that mean? And you're like, oh, that's the line.
Well, my wife's non-reader is super into this season. Like, really.
Yeah, that's cool.
A great season. I will say that it is a great season.
It's good TV. I mean, it's not the books. It's a different turning, but they're hitting some notes here, and they're taking scenes direct. Whereas before it felt like they were just adding a lot of stuff. A lot of the scenes are lifted directly from the books. It's just in different places and different scenarios, which makes it a little awkward. But
I'm glad it's not the book exactly.
Yeah,
because it makes it still kind of new. It's a new adventure for us. It's very familiar, but it's new.
Yes.
And to String Flame's point, he does in book 1 when they charge the Trollocs, he speaks Old Tongue when he yells the Manetheren thing. In the very first book, way before any of that. That was before even Shatter Logoth.
Right.
So
That's that blood of Manethrin.
So well, no. The fan theory is it's when Beelzebub comes to them all individually in their dreams, and we know Matt had the dream too, but we don't get a POV of Matt in the dream. But he offers him the cup to Rand drink the books, and Rand refuses it. There's a fan theory, we don't know this for sure, that Matt drank from the cup, and that's what gave him that. There's a fan
that
theory
makes sense. I think you threw that out there early on too, or at least you asked us about it.
Yeah,
I remember that conversation.
And
if someone was going to, it'd be Matt. Yeah.
If anybody's gonna drink this from the cup, it's gonna be Matt. Yeah, 100%. Like, oh, free wine, sure. Like,
now, what is it you wanted to talk about? That tastes funny.
Why am I speaking weird languages now? This doesn't make sense. But yeah, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Beelzebub. All right, so let's talk about the actual books. The Gathering Storm, chapter 14. A box opens.
Catswain.
Yes. And we got some wise ones too. We got Sorila and Catswain. They're speaking. About so other wise ones are holding Cimarog's shield, and they're speaking about Cimarog and about the Aiel questioning them, and Catswain thinking about, doesn't like the idea of it, like, I can probably break her
secrets herself.
Right. And
she cannot allow anybody else to have those secrets but herself.
Yeah.
She doesn't trust anybody else with good reason. She's got great caution, but then it makes you very cautious of Catswain herself. And as I listen to this chapter more, I got more and more apprehensive. That's a good word.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on there, but I think so. For those of y'all listening, not watching, I changed my name every show to make it something that stood out to me or something relevant to the book. And tonight I put co-captains because there was a blip in there of Catswain being like, talking about the wise woman there with her. Like, she didn't feel the same. I don't know if it's contempt, but sometimes that's how she acts towards other people. Like, she didn't look down on her. Like, she started considering that she saw her as a peer. And while there was still a desire to kind of withhold information, and at the end of this, like, I'm going to withhold, she wanted to say no about, showing her this object, the box or whatever. But she thought about it, and she's like, she's done some stuff for me. I kind of got some respect for this woman. It's like we're very similar in some ways, even though we've been going down different paths.
Right.
So maybe, which is something new. We've not seen that from Catswain at all.
No, not at all.
So it would be cool to see this relationship develop. And because they are such kindred spirits, what's the wise one's name? The one she's going back and forth with?
Sorila.
Right. Yeah. So if the relationship is formed and trust kind of happens in both ways, we could get even some more revelation of, the Aiel, what they're capable of, their prophecies, their, what the wise ones really do, or even if there's good communication, unlikely, but between these two, it could be one of these, our powers combined, look at the amazingness we can do, sort of thing. So I'm a little more hopeful, and that this might be a turning point with at least one person in Catswain, that they kind of link up and form a bond. And
well,
they're gonna bond.
Amis, it's Amis.
Yay!
Welcome
in.
Hi, Amis. Hi.
This chapter's for you, Amis. And it's over. Next.
Next chapter.
It was a short one.
It was a short one. But it's not over yet, because Sorila goes and talks to Cimarog, and Cimarog starts to taunt her immediately. It's like, Valbreaker. And she's like, what?
I think it's
like,
pretty dope.
People. What?
I think that the way that they're holding Cimarog is pretty cool. Like, it's the flashes, the lights, the sound. Like, you can't see us, you can't hear us, you can't talk to us, but we're gonna keep you awake. We're gonna deprive you. Like, they're trying everything, and this woman is not breaking. I have a newfound respect for her grit and tenacity.
For Cimarog?
Yeah, for Cimarog. I hate to say it, but I do.
Yeah.
This is the next level stuff.
Yep.
Well, if you learn anything in thousands of years of being locked away, however they were locked away, is you learn patience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not over until it's truly over. And up until that final moment, you just assume you're going to have an opportunity and you wait for that opportunity. You know?
Very
So
true.
he is displaying that. The trouble is, Cad Swain and the wise ones here questioning her, like, I think they understand that. They're like, these methods we're using, I mean, there's just no way that we're going to break her. Even if they were allowed to do like the physical torture and whatnot, they might not be able to break her. Like, this is something they have not dealt with before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the wise ones are pretty sure that they could break her, but
they fantasize about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. After all this, Catswing, I guess agrees just because she wants to go deal with Rand. She kind of relents, like, I just gotta deal with Rand. So
yeah.
Because she doesn't think Rand's ready to face the Dark One. So she's like, I need to deal with Rand right now. I don't have time for this girl.
She's not. You brought up the fact that Cimarog starts to make fun of the Aiel, and then she even brings up the blacksmith comments. And
so where'd you go with that about something insulting, or like that they would do something to harm a blacksmith, which apparently is like a huge, I think this is news to us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a huge thing to be disrespectful towards a blacksmith. Like, blacksmiths in Io culture are revered big time. Like, they're wildly important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious where your mind went with that.
It was just more like, is Perrin going to be a revered individual when he meets up with more Aiel, or when he joins up with the crew? Like, there's kind of that thought process on there. But
yeah, I mean, he's already besties with Gaul, so yeah.
But there's that. Then also,
what if? Can I ask this question?
Go ahead.
Sorry, before we leave that topic. What happens if you have all these Aiel following Rand, and then there's some sort of conflict between Rand and Perrin is seen by the Aiel as a blacksmith, and Rand disrespects him? Does Rand lose some faith from his followers?
No, I don't see that happen.
No, he'll just have just a tiny bit.
Little toe?
Little toe.
Yeah.
Rand is the breaker of all the traditions, so nothing he can do is wrong, because everything he does is wrong, but they accept it because that's what they expect.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine Sanderson/Jordan would put that nugget about the blacksmith thing in there for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that.
Something comes out of that.
The nugget about Cimarog being bothered about being compared to being human.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the things they've said and done, that was the one thing that got under her skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, they also I guess talk about the domination bands too.
Oh yeah. Well, they call the one for leashing the male.
Right, the male item.
Like, they call it pure evil. And even Cat Swain's like, I've never considered anything like that. She has some of the curiosity of a Brown, but definitely sees that as absolute evil. Although she wants to try it out on some Ashaman. And Rand's like, no.
Yeah, Rand's like, nope. No,
even the wise ones are like, that's like testing out a spear by stabbing your friends. Like, I want to see if this works. Like,
you gotta learn more about it, and that's the way to do it. Like, how is she supposed to do it? I will say, it was, first off, I love the security that Cat Swain put on her box. That was pretty dope.
That's like when we made a potato gun and we decided to try to test it out by shooting at point blank range someone with the potato gun. And so we had someone ready to do it and take a potato. And then I think it was actually Ian was like the voice of reason.
It was me.
It was Ian. I was like, wait, stop.
Let's test
before
it.
You shoot it. Let's test it. So, like, how many pillows do we use?
A couple of pillows, a couple of boogie boards.
A couple of boogie boards and a 2x4. And went through the pillows, cracked the boogie boards in half, and left a dent in the 2x4. We're like, Yeah, probably
Yeah,
a bad
we're
idea to
not.
shoot someone with it.
And the potato disintegrated. There was no potato left.
They laughed. No,
Yeah.
but there's damage.
Yeah, you don't want to take that point blank. That'd be a bad idea.
Nah.
Yeah, Ian being the voice of reason every once in a while. But yeah, we didn't think it'd be that powerful. But then again, like we didn't make normal potato guns. We over-engineered the crap out of them. Like we probably should have done competitions.
Extra large combustion chamber. Like we actually attempted some math and figuring out how much, and we didn't use hairspray. We used the ether-based starting fluid. And we were trying to get you can drown it out and have too much. You still need some air in there for it to, get the best boom.
Right.
So like we had it measured. It was like, a 2-second spritz or something is all you need. And anyways,
yeah,
we maximized it.
We could fire it. I mean, I know we could. We went to the golf course one time and we'd clear, a whole entire hole, like all the way past.
But we went from the tee box, past the green, so over 300 yards.
Over 300 yards.
That was with the lemon, though.
Yeah, that was.
I think the potatoes were falling short of the green, but if you get a perfectly sized lemon where you don't have to cut it to get it to wedge in there, that sucker flew like a football, and we got some distance out of that.
Yeah, we that was well over 300, 400 yards. We could shoot the thing.
That's absolutely crazy.
Hey, let's shoot Billy with it and see what happens. Yeah, what were we thinking?
Of course, we were done with it. We showed a potato in there, and then we put a bunch of jellyfish on top of the potato, and then shoot it straight up in the air, and they just rain down jellyfish. That hurt.
As I fired it off,
Welcome, everybody.
I don't know who, but somebody looked at me and goes, "You idiot! You're gonna get stung too." And I was like, "I know."
It's like raining down parts of jellyfish all over. I was like, "Ow, God, it's like staying up." That was fun.
Yeah, so don't test out dangerous weapons on your friends is what we're trying to relate to this story.
That part. Did you get the idea that Catswing had more than one of those items?
That was hinted at.
I think she definitely believes more than one exists.
But I feel like she had more
after
than
seeing
one.
the ban and being told other copies are in the keeping and retired Aes Sedai. So like there are some Aes Sedai, like older Aes Sedai that have older copies of that.
Yeah, and she also has calendar. She has the sword. Did we know that already?
For safekeeping.
Sure.
Yeah.
But all three of them, Bayer, Sorila, and Catsman all agree at the end, just that they need to all work together on her end. So that's kind of the thing. And that's the end of this chapter.
That was where I was like, "What do you mean? You need to work together on handling Rand? Like, what do you mean? Must be controlled. Like, how are we controlling him? What are we doing with him?" I didn't like those words.
Puppets.
And then we switched. To
I could see something happening where Rand consents to it because he's worried about him going crazy and he knows he needs, like, his power is needed, but his mind is just so out of whack. And who would he trust to do it? I could see him trusting Nynaeve, any of the females that he's bonded with at this point. I could see a scenario where he consents to it. And so it's not just Rand fighting at the last battle. It's, people he trusts and whatnot helping to control him.
Catswing is the worst. Maybe.
Don't do that to us, because I already have these fears.
Yep.
There actually is an alternate. When we get to that part, there I might actually go and play that video for you guys. The alternate writing of one of the books that Brandon Sanderson did, just to troll Matt Hatch. It's hilarious. Anyway, and he had Michael Kramer read it, so it's like an audiobook. It's great. It's fantastic. There's a video.
Give it to us when we get there. I'm excited.
When we get there, yeah, it's great. Anyways, when we get there, we'll definitely do it. So you ready to move to chapter 15?
Sure.
A place
Rand
to
wakes
begin.
up.
Kind of into like a trip.
This is the place that he met him way back in book 1, is it not?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so.
So he wakes up
But
in an
it's-
oddly familiar place and goes to the door and sees the sky bubbling. And there's a Stormfather. It's like, wait, what book am I reading? Shroud of Honor. What?
Where am I? What is this?
This
Another turn of
is
the wheel.
Roshar. Brandon Sanderson's writing this. He's just like, oh, I'm just gonna blend in Way of Kings in real time, real fast.
Make it
But yeah,
there's
there's the clouds are forming in shapes with tormented faces and everything inside of it, and it's all weird. And he goes back into the room. He's like, I've been here before. There's two chairs.
Have I been here though, or has Luz been here though?
Yeah,
Wait, I don't hear Luz. Luz isn't. Daddy isn't there.
Yeah, and there's a guy there in one of the seats. And he's like, wait, I know you. You're the guy who saved my life in Shadow Logoth.
Which I thought was funny.
And Morden's like, yeah, that was me. And he goes, wait a second, but this is where I killed you, though. Like, are you Balsamon? I killed you. And he's like,
you did.
He's like, new body, new me, new name. I'm Morden now.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, new phone, who dis? Surprise, bitches! I'm back.
That's exactly how it was. Rance is next to him. It's just like, wait a second. I don't understand.
It's actually a good question is whose dream is it? Because at one point Morden says, can you get out? And he's like, but I thought you brought me here. Is this like is this not your dream or is this my dream? Like, am I in your dream or you're in my dream? Like, I'm really confused.
Really a bond. Well, and then he's like, is it really a dream? Or are we just in a different waking world?
Yeah,
because,
I mean,
dreams are more real than the real world.
Yeah, and he tells Rand, like, the Dark One can bring people back from the dead as long as it's not Balefired.
Yeah, it's called Lord of the Grave for a reason.
Yeah,
he can even put men in women's body and women in men's body.
Little evidence here that Ballsy doesn't know everything, because even he admits, he's like, it's interesting though that we could still remember the people that we lost through Balefire. Like, we shouldn't be able to do that, but yeah,
but we do.
So I don't know if like Rand catches on to that, but it's a little chink in the armor of his adversary here. Like, he's not all knowing, you know.
Yeah, but even he says, like, Morden makes this same argument that Ishamael made way back in the beginning, and the reason why Ishamael went to the Dark was his argument was, in enough turnings of the wheel, eventually the Dark One will win. And he makes the same argument to Rand again. So it doesn't really matter if you win or not in Tarmogoyf. Eventually, you're going to lose. So it doesn't really matter.
Keep going through this until we don't.
Yeah, anymore. One of these turnings of the wheel, Dark One will win. And Rand kind of like, no, I'm going to kill the Dark One this time. So there will be no other turning. And Morty's like, it's like a child right now. You have no idea what you're even talking about. Like,
makes you think though that Rand, the type of person he is, he's having in his mind to not just win this go round. If he buys into this, he wants to win and also break the wheel, I think. So my thought process here is that Rand's eventually going to come to the point of like, I'm not saying like partnering up with any of these folks to break the wheel, but maybe because some of the Forsaken or the Chosen or whatever we should call them out, some of them are wanting power, but some of them also want the wheel broken.
Yeah.
Like this guy. So maybe if Rand's like, all right, cool, we can break the wheel, but we're not going to let this evil win in doing it. And he finds some way to somehow defeat him while still breaking the wheel, and maybe even partnering up with some of these Forsaken. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. Yep.
Redemption for the Forsaken. You sound like a dark friend.
I love it.
I believe in redemption for everyone. None of us should be judged by the decisions and actions we make in our worst and lowest moment. It's what we repeatedly do, and it's how the story ends. So there's always a chance to redeem yourself, even if you made a bunch of shitty decisions.
Yeah. Sorry. Lucian. Alan's getting to them. Yeah, I am. Finally converting them over to the Chosen. Slowly. So after this, you guys ready to go to Min's point of view? Because we flip after this.
Morden is she? Dreams are more truthful than living.
Mm-hmm.
There's rats in the walls, and they're being burned, which
Yeah,
makes
they're being
that
burned
Morden.
outside.
Yeah, it makes me think that he wants a little bit of separation from the Dark One himself. So he's
Yeah.
literally burning the rats. They can't spy on him.
Interesting.
And then there's conversation about the black flecks in his eyes.
Yeah, the saw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can move forward now because that was really it.
Yeah. So moving forward to Min's point of view, same chapter. Rand's thrashing around, and she tries to calm him. She starts to read some books to him, and tries to calm down. And eventually, just wakes up. And he tells her, admits to there's a voice in his head. It's loose there, and it's real. And Min asks him to share more, and he says, Loose Theron's mad, and he's in his head, and sometimes he's trying to see sighting for himself, and Min kind of calms him and assures him, but at the same time, insists that the voice is just a remnant of what Rand was before, that it's not, you don't have to really worry about that. And Rand's like, no, but Rand's like, nah, I'm not going to fail like Luz. Like, I'm going to win this time. Like Luz screwed up. I'm going to do it right. Yeah.
There's the question of, should I accept the fact that I'm a madman, or should I accept the fact that there's another man here? Because either way, it makes me seem mad. But one makes me justifiably mad, and the other reason is reason for you to worry.
But Min actually wonders, all mad people think the voice in their head is, they just blame that on the horrible things.
Well, and then he's like, well, you literally saw it in me, like where there were two men merging into one or trying to merge into one. He's like, he's the other man. Like, he's here in my mind.
Yeah, we don't need to skip. We don't need to skip over that. Harrowfed is dead now, murdered and torn apart by Shadowspawn. He discovered something in the books, and he intended to tell Rand, and trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
What was?
Well, and it's interesting because Min was like, I never thought I would be the person that's sitting here trying to be essentially a book nerd, but here I am trying to piece it together, and I think maybe I got it, but I'm not sure. And then as Rand's going through his, like, we got to figure it out, and he's like, I'm relying on you. I need your help to figure it out. She's like, well, I think you have to break all the Quindiar.
Yeah, all the seals
broken. And he's like,
clear away the rubble.
Yeah, and he like agreed, like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we went full speed in the opposite direction. We've been going since we figured out, about the seals.
Yeah, and then she gets
trying to figure out how to recreate them. Which, I mean, I guess that's the thing. Recreating is not saving the old ones.
Yeah, and then she gets some auras around him, some viewings. There's fireflies, darkness, and then there's 3 women before pyre, a funeral pyre, and others are there too. And she tells him that they're clues about what he should do, but they're so vague. He's like, I'll just keep looking. I don't know exactly.
Did it say how many fireflies? Because that could be important.
I think it was a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't give an exact.
I was going for a song reference there. Never mind. You failed.
Sorry.
1,000,000 fireflies. Are you talking about Owl City?
1,000,000.
Or is it 1,000 fireflies? That's 1,000,000 fireflies. Yeah, from Owl City song you're talking about?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's 1,000,000.
Yeah.
A side note, one advantage to like lifting heavy and often, whenever you get a hankering for protein, it is never like a bad thing to just bake a platter of chicken. I already had dinner, but I'm starving, so that's why I was kind of MIA there for a second. Let's get the oven going.
And you remember who killed Haredfeld, right?
Who?
Do you remember? Torn to pieces? What?
Yeah, it was the
Golem.
Yeah, Golem.
Exactly. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Perfect. All right. After this, we switch to Avienda's point of view. Amis sneaks up on Avienda and tells her that some people are concerned. With things they have done and don't consider the things they haven't. Flynn and Davin Bashir return. What?
Very, very, very cryptic. Yeah. I wish they just go ahead and tell her what she did.
Yeah.
I guess that's not their thing.
Nope. Corana tells that the Sanchin have given Rand cause to declare a blood feud. It's kind of like just some skirmishes, some little bit of a hostility, some little bit.
Fireflies.
Yeah, there's what?
It's 10 million fireflies.
It's 10 million fireflies.
Weird. Yeah. I hate goodbyes. I got Misty. They said farewell.
Yeah. It is such a catchy song.
I'd like to make myself believe the planet Earth turns slowly.
Yeah, favorite songs.
Anyway, it's a great song.
It is. Let's see. Yeah. Anything else? Let's see.
Avienda's running around in the dark. She's literally just like, she's got her lamp and she's running. Then she blows her lamp out. And then she stumbles in the dark. She stubs her toe. She cuts her light back on. She runs to the end. She cuts her light off. She runs around in the dark. She stubs her toe again. Like, that's her toe. Her penance for her toe is stubbing her toe.
A literal toe.
Mies says she sounds like a wetlander. Until it says she sounds like a Shido.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. Mies also sounds like a Shido. Corana tells her that Shanshan have leashed wise ones, Shadow wise ones. Or is that she's talking about Corana?
Corana was told Amis she sounds like a wetlander.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry, wrong way.
Amis tells what's her name that she sounds like a Shido. And Avienda is just spitting good bars. Like
voice of reason.
The voice of reason talking about, I feel like Rand's doing the right thing. You know, we have to put the betterment of the clan over the one individual sect.
Yeah.
Can I tell you how much I loved reading, and I'll be honest, from a female perspective, the ability to not squash, but recognize the emotions, the overwhelming emotions that are hitting you, and how those emotions are trying to drive you to one decision. But despite that, still being able to take a moment, look at the situation and go, however, what needs to happen, the direction we need to go is X, Y, Z. That is, for personal reasons, I just found joy in a female perspective doing that. But that is wildly important for all of us. Doesn't matter male or female. And not to get into the dating conversation, but certainly something, I don't know how to put it on the list or how to put it into words, but like recognizing one's ability to do that is crucial. Because we all get emotional at times, but acting out in that versus recognizing that you're in an emotional state, trying to understand why, and then still be able to make good decisions despite that is huge, wildly difficult, but huge. Yeah.
Indeed.
Which it sends me back to, this is just Avienda's final test before becoming a wise one.
Yeah.
Or maybe, it'd be cool is if within the wise one circle, there's like a secret, there was the prophecy of the Karakan, but maybe there was a prophecy of like somebody that stands out among the wise ones that like is raised in both worlds, so she has the wisdom and the training of a wise one, but she's also been trained Aes Sedai a little bit, and she's been involved in these other cultures, so maybe there's a unique position for her that she's supposed to hold.
Yeah,
maybe.
Indubitably. Anything else from this chapter?
Again, Amis is like, you need harder penance. This isn't enough.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? I don't even understand. And that's part of the issue. I think the issue is that she keeps accepting it all. She needs to be like, look, we have too many more
stand up for
important things
herself.
to do. I'm not doing this anymore. Y'all go somewhere. And then they're like, sister, welcome.
We're talking about Avi. Yeah, we're talking about Avi.
Yeah.
We're talking loosely about Avi.
Yeah.
Because she's just a wallflower at this point.
With that, what you were saying, Chris, like how much is she going to put up with? Do you see some correlation with that one storyline out of the White Tower where Elida essentially stripped one of the Aes Sedai and like made her accept it again, or downgraded her?
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason it was true, the only reason it actually happened, is that person accepted it,
right,
instead of fighting back, instead of refusing it. And this is different scenario, but maybe this is part of their test. Like that's part of the true character of a wise one. That, well, yeah, we work together and we trust each other, and we talk about things. At the end of the day, each and every one of you needs to be able to stand alone in what you feel to be right.
Yeah. Broken dreams.
Yep. So one of these chapters, Aviendis is going to snap and be like, "F this, F you, F you,
I'm
not doing this shit anymore." And then they all just start clapping, and put some necklace around her, and they go, "You did it. You're one of us now."
That's exactly what has to happen. I promise you.
Then a big storm just says, "These words are accepted."
Yeah.
Welcome, sister.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the ways. Speaking of the ways, we haven't seen the ways in a while.
We did in the show.
We did in the show, yeah. We went through the ways. We didn't see inside, but that was a little different too in the show. Easily. Yeah, they made it through pretty easily. No Martin Sheen coming to take him out. Anything else from this chapter before we move to In the White Room or the White Tower?
No.
Okay. Chapter 16, In the White Tower.
I'm actually surprised you didn't make this a live reaction.
Yeah, you mentioned that. It is a good one.
So good.
Cat just ran past me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know that I would have had much to say, but the facial expressions and the emotion towards the end of this chapter, oh boy, it got me.
Because it was a long chapter, but there wasn't a whole lot to it. But that final 5 minutes or so was just like
there was a little build up to it. There was tension. There was even internal conflict in her mind, and then
yeah.
We can get into the details, but I will tell you, I called Alan not long after finishing this chapter and told him he needs to warn us, like with at least some sort of, hey, be in a safe space when you get to a certain part. Because I was listening to this on the way to work and literally finished the chapter up right before I got to the gate. And so I'm like, it's not like sad tears or anything, but emotion like welling up. My eyes are a little teary. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm pulling up my CAC to show the guy at the gate, because that's what you do to get on military installations. You show him your CAC. And he looks at me, and I'm thinking like, oh man, he probably thinks I'm on drugs or something. And I was like, audiobook, I just got to a really intense chapter with a character I've been listening to for years. And he was like, say no more, fam. I get it. And just handed my card back, and I was on my way. And I called Alan, and I was like, screw you, Alan. Way to set me up.
Fun times.
And he's like, one more chapter. And Alan's like, but you get no resolution for a while. I'm like, what? I hadn't even read the chapters at that point. I was like, I don't even want to read anymore. I'm just gonna forget.
Yeah, they don't go back.
Definitely
to
a cliffhanger.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. That's Brandon Sanderson for you. So it is what it is. Kind of thing. I'm like, give me the next chapter, but it's not gonna give you any kind of.
It's not. It is what it is. Let's get to it. Let's get to that part that we're talking about. Everybody knows.
Brandon Sanderson did that too. Don't blame me on this. You're like, you can't leave us like that. No, Sanderson left you hanging. We can't do like 20 chapters in one. Oh, we could. I just don't have the time.
Yeah,
too long.
We talk too much.
Yeah. So let's get there. So Egwene shells walnuts for 3 of the whites.
Very carefully.
Yeah. Frayne asks her.
Does not like pieces. One has to have whole nuts.
Yeah.
She wants to.
But one of the sister or one of the Aes Sedai asks her what she would have done in a Lida situation. And
that was
Egwene says she
that was
what
the
was
whatchamacallit.
that?
What do they call him?
Farran?
The head white.
Consider this. Yeah, she's a sitter. Consider
Sitter,
this part of your training in logic. We just want to hear what you think.
Yeah. Egwene says she would have sent sisters to Rand's home village to see what sort of man he is. She tells them she knows Rand to be a good man at heart.
Well, she gives a list of all these possibilities of the type of person he could have been, and so then they retort back. They're like, "Well, you know him, so in this situation, pretend you're you, and you already know these things. Like, what kind of man is he?" And Egwene's like, "Well, really, he's all of those things. Yeah.
He's a complicated being. He's got emotion, and as we went on, I also found out that he has anger, and he's able to use it. So,
right."
Yeah.
Even though you know a person doesn't mean you know a person, because you haven't seen every situation they've been in.
I think I don't know if you want to get into every back and forth, Alan, but the most critical parts for me were when Egwene starts explaining why not only does she disagree with what Elida did, but what Elida did had the exact opposite effect of what you would want in this situation. Like the absolute worst thing you could have done. Elida did it.
Yeah, they're like, are we supposed to coddle him? Are we supposed to allow him to do what he did? Are we supposed to allow him to make a mess? And then she starts quoting the
prophecy.
Prophecies, yeah.
And they're like, damn, you're right.
If he was locked up, would he have been able to do any of those things?
Yeah. And this comes back up. This comes back up again later, but definitely, and says, what kind of logic is it raising a red, in the days of the Dragon Reborn to deal with them? Be like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that's the worst thing.
You scare him away.
Egwene's like, and then what do we get instead? You get a lot of like throwing everything apart, and then now we have Aes Sedai being captive and allowed to be bonded by Ashman, and like one of the other people's like, what's this? And like one
what's
like
happening?
Kind of blushes like,
hey, watch what you say, girl. She's like, cat's out the bag now, bitch.
Cat's out the bag now, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and isn't this where she gives the metaphor of like the wagon with the broken axle?
Yeah, because they're like, well, the most important
you can't
thing
just start loading the wagon.
Yeah, the most important thing is to deal with the Dragon Reborn. It's like, no, the most important thing is to fix the tower first, because the axle's broken. Like, what's the point?
She said dealing and working with are two different things. We're not supposed to be dealing with him. We're supposed to be working with him. So even in your conversations, we are going directly against what it is we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
If we did what we were supposed to be doing, then we would have sent him a cohort of people that would be able to work with him, a gray, a green, and a blue.
Right.
People to show that, we're not trying to fight you, but we're here to negotiate.
Yep. And advise and, help.
Manipulate, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. But Farran is impressed and is like, we can welcome you to the Whites. It's funny how like all the different Aes Sedai are like, oh, you should come be yellow. Oh, you should come be a white. Like they're all trying. They all like Egwene. Like
she's also one of the strongest. So once she becomes an Aes Sedai, she'll have higher rank over most of them.
Right.
Remember last episode where I was talking about that Dan Brown movie, Angels and Demons, where he finds that loophole to get everybody to declare him Pope?
Yeah.
So I started thinking about how they keep making her wear novice white, and then in the chapters, I don't know if it's happened yet or about to happen, where she's given all the chores, where she's just getting the charcoal all in her, so it's like the gray and this, that, and the other. Like, what if we end up with a scenario where when they're all finally ready to make their decision to like get rid of Elida and who should the Armerlin be, like you're going to look at Egwene in her novice dress, but she's going to have all this different stuff on her from all the different chores and the beatings and the blood from the beatings. And so you literally have all the colors on her. And that's when it just hits them and they're like, she is the Armerlin.
Black and blue. She'll have red on her dress, which is already white, gray from soot. Well, she switched dresses, but we can get some gray from soot.
Inevitably, that's what I was picturing in my mind. It's going to be, this isn't going to be an Armerlin that's like elected. this is going to be them remembering, well, maybe not remembering, they weren't there back then, but like actually recognizing somebody that is deserving of that seat and playing the role they're supposed to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
And they all scream Egwene's name and poof, she's Armelin.
Yeah, pretty much. Sure. So after this, she's sent back down to the kitchens for chores, and she gets there, and Laura sneaks up on her.
Well, before she's sent there, she has that nice little conversation with the Red, who was like,
"Oh, Katarine,
yeah,
yeah."
She's like, here's your fork root, and we decided,
No
you
more.
know, you're done with weaves. You know all these weaves. You don't need to do that. We got even better chores for you. She said, but I already do chores. She said, no.
That's all you're gonna do now.
It's 5 hours chores. That's it.
Chores.
Welcome to your new life.
Chores.
Yep.
And she goes down, and Laura sneaks up on her and is like, "Hey, I need to talk to you inside the fireplace. Come on!" Like,
whenever Alan tells me he needs to talk to me in the fireplace, I know something's up. Like, that's a dead giveaway.
It is. And she's being super sneaky. Like, Egwene's like, "What is going on?" And Laura's finally just like, "Hey, I've arranged all this. All right, so go ahead and get in the barrel. We're gonna get you out of the city. You'll be out by nightfall." And Egwene actually thinks about it for a second. She's like, "No, I ain't going. I ain't going nowhere.
The job's not done yet."
Yeah.
She's like, I am an Aes Sedai. And she's like, you ain't no Aes Sedai. She's like, I am an Aes Sedai, and I'm not running from my problem. I gotta fix this.
I got stuff.
She's like, girl, you crazy. She's like, I may be crazy, but I am the Armilla.
Yep.
And then she's like, you're double crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, they come back out, and right as a Red comes in, and Lars panics, but Egwene's quick on her feet. She's like, "Thank you so much for showing me how I was doing that wrong." Like, and like, yeah, do it better next time, girl. and Katarine's,
yeah, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, Katarine's like, "Hey, you're being asked to summons to Elida's quarters for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
So go clean yourself up." So at dinner, Egwene sees that there are 5 other Aes Sedai there, a sitter from each Aja, apart from the blue and the red. And yeah, Elida's kind of having her talks, and pretty much right into it, Egwene just starts tearing her a new one. I mean, it's it's pretty fast. Like, she comes in there.
The little bit leading up to it in Egwene's, in her head point of view, is battling with kind of what she did before last time she was in front of Elida. She's like, you know, I can't try to win the war right here. I got to pick and choose. I can't let her get to me. Like right now, just by surviving and not letting it bother me, it's still winning. Like, don't overreact.
Right.
But then the way Elida starts things here and is immediately tearing into the different Ajas and different people and like causing more division and just trying to flex her power. And Egwene just becomes more and more disgusted by it. Like, Elida is everything the Amberlin should not be and not be doing.
Something we skipped over, but is very important, is Egwene was like, the current leadership is creating division within the tower. And we know we cannot have this division within the tower. And then she said many have already started to try to heal and to mend the tower. She starts mentioning, like, I will have this person meet with you at this time, and then this person will meet with you at that time. If you're willing to put in the work. And the whites are like, well, why do we have to do it? Well, because you're the logical ones, and logic suggests that Elida is not the logical choice. So you need to logically get your move on and get this done. And then for her to pop up in here and to have Elida essentially forcing her to be a cupbearer and making all these poor decisions, you know, these Aes Sedai are looking at her like, oh, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to continue to allow her to say this? Like, are you all talk?
Yeah. Egwene starts to just lay into her. I mean, she's literally just, and Elida comes back saying, you know, you're spreading lies. And Egwene's like, I took the 3 oaths. I might not have an oath rod, but I take it because I actually believe in those oaths. Like, not I don't need someone to force me to do
Right.
it.
They mean more to me because I'm not compelled by
something.
some force to do it. I do it because I choose to.
It's
And
like, so I'll tell you the truth. I'm a dreamer, and I've seen the Shan-Chan will attack the tower, and you're just causing problems. And Elijah starts to use the power to gag her. It's like, what? You're going to silence me? Huh?
like a real Omlin would be able to use logic.
Read logic and use your words. Yeah. So are you real? Are you woman enough to be the Armlin? Like, are you just going to silence me? So she drops, she drops the leaves.
Yeah.
Or how about, I know we keep jumping around, but I love how she, in her back and forth with Elida, she gives different nods to the different Ajas.
Yes.
To the Brown, she quotes a Brown Amerlin from back in the day, talking about what the true role of the Amerlin is, and to take care of her people, and to be a servant to the sisters.
Brown Amerlin.
Right. Yep. And so the Brown gives the nod.
Yeah. And he's like, well, unless you're actually the Black Aja, you can't lie right now. I'm trying to be a servant. You're trying to force people to take a fourth oath. And she's like, say, tell me right now you didn't say that.
Deny it.
Deny it. Go for it.
Cap or no cap. Cap or no cap.
Because if you deny it, we know here, because other sitters heard you say it, that you're now a dark friend. So
and she tries to play it off. Oh, it was all in jest.
Just a jest.
Just thoughts spoken out loud.
She's not denying it, but she's not admitting I was in jest. Don't worry about that.
And then there was a nod to the Yellows talking about the need to heal and unite. And the yellow sitter at the table gives the nod, like, okay, totally in agreement with that. And then, just the whole gist of everything about being able to use logic and, give sound arguments and everything, that's a nod to the white, and the white's now like, okay. So like bit by bit, Egwene wins over everybody at the table. If she didn't already, she took turns while defeating Elida, giving a nod and showing respect and showing the importance of the way they think and what they bring to the table, like in that moment.
Even got the Greens, who were the most infuriating group for her to deal with at the time. As the next thing popped up, Elida got upset, and she's like, "You will bow to me." And she's like, "This is before she was even talking." She's like, "I'm not going to bow to you. Like, I'm not going to apologize to you. I'm not going to be quiet. I'll serve you your drink, but you're wrong. Like, I've had the collar around my neck. Like, we do have a problem with the Shan-Chan, but we have a greater problem, and that's you breaking down the tower more and more and more." And she was like,
I respect the position enough that I would step aside if I was in your position. And
like, she started getting literally beat by the air and the whips that created.
Well, before that, that's when Egwene finally snaps and like, "You're a coward," and calls her a dark friend, and that's where Elida loses control. It starts
to be fair. She poses a question in the form of a dilemma that would suggest that she's a dark friend, but she did not name her dark friend.
Right.
But Elida does name Egwene dark friend. Now, I don't know if we get into the nitty gritty of that in later chapters, but it is significant to call someone a dark friend versus, suggest the possibility.
Egwene said, I would suggest, like you said, I would suggest you're a dark friend, but the dark one would have nothing to do with you.
Hilarious.
Like,
what a great thing.
Like you. And she even admitted, she, like you were saying, like, I would step down. Not that I'm not the Amerlin, but I would step down and allow you to take control if you were doing the right thing. So it's not even that she wants Elida out. She just wants a better leader from Elida. She even admitted that. She's like, I was hoping you'd be a better leader in this time.
I had more hope for you. That's such a backhanded compliment. Like, I wanted to like you. I really did.
Yeah. For the sake of this tower, like, I wish you were the Amerlin you thought you were. I wish you were a good one.
Wish you were a good one.
For everybody's sake. But you're not.
So a lot of chooses violence.
And this is where the Greens pop up. The Greens are like, this woman is strong. She's taking this beating like a G.
Yeah.
She's like, you're breaking
even better with
law. She's like, I am the law.
I mean,
right. And she's like, and I'm going to make it look at this as an example. And when she goes to point to Egwene to use this ass whooping as an example, Egwene's standing like, you got more?
An example of what?
Oh, I got a clip. I got a clip of Egwene. It's
Catch me outside. How about that?
Huh?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch you outside.
I hope they use that in the show, just like that.
just like that. Catch me
That exact clip.
That's Egwene to Elida. Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah. But unfortunately, the way the chapter wraps up, it's not like Egwene casually walking away. It infuriated Elida to no end, and it turned into the worst lashings, and the description of like blood literally splattering and flying everywhere,
right,
and getting slammed, crushed into the wall with air, and
I mean, she's but at the same time, all the rest of the sitters are in horror by what Elida's doing right now, which is just giving more power to Egwene, because it's just furthermore letting everyone know that Elida should not be in charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess the really emotional part for me, when I was young and raised in the church, and I guess it doesn't really matter where you're raised, but if you're raised with certain values, like, always telling the truth and putting others before yourself and all that, we were raised to be strong young men, but always taught you don't use that strength to hurt somebody that's weaker than you. Use it to protect, you use it to instruct, all that jazz. And like when you're young, you kind of pride yourself on those values, and all of that's easy when the choices are easy, when you're not risking harm to yourself. And then, like, luckily I learned this very early on, but I have very distinct memories of being questioned by a teacher or somebody where if I told the truth, I was in trouble, but I could easily weave a lie there and get myself out of it and be fine. And when I was young, I chose the lie, and it ate me up, because once you do that, it's almost like all those things you valued and that you prided yourself on, like you realize you're a hypocrite. The moment there's a little bit of pushback, the moment there's a little bit of risk to yourself, you sacrifice those values and principles and you try to save yourself. And then I learned the opposite later in life. I was like, well, I'm not going to live with those regrets and have to, think about that moment the rest of my life.
No,
for now on, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to do the right thing, even if it hurts myself. And there's certainly been moments where by doing the right thing, like I've made life way more difficult for me. But I've slept better because of it. And anyway, so all these thoughts are kind of going through my mind. So this moment of Egwene, and she talks about it. She's like, if, I've been saying all these things to these Aes Sedai, my sisters, like behind the scenes, but if I'm going to talk that talk, I have to walk the walk as well. Do I really believe what I'm saying? Like, are these virtues and values so great? Are the principles that we stand on in the tower so great that I'm willing to sacrifice myself for it?
Right.
And she made that. She couldn't have, maybe she hoped that she would survive, but at that point she had to know she was risking her life.
Yeah.
At the very least, the ass whooping of a lifetime. She definitely got. So anyways, all of that just, and then I had to roll my window down and show my ID. Like, that was intense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That was it. You summed it up very well.
What's that old if you don't stand for something, you stand for, or you'll be, what, I can't remember how that goes. Was it?
If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, or something like that.
That's it. Yeah.
Which, any of you out there that have relationships with people pleasers, you should read about that some more. People that are totally reactive and just always trying to please the world around them. It seems nice initially at first. But if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything. It causes problems.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually got into like political arguments, not arguments, but like philosophy type things with people. I don't like to talk politics that much. You know that. I mean, I will close friends, but not like on a platform like this. But like I tend to, people misinterpret my not for Republicans or Democrats as I'm like not standing for anything. I've had people actually say like, well, you're not standing for anything. Like you don't choose a side. And I was like, no, I hate both of them. Like there's a third option. like there's an us and them. It's not a right and left. It's there's an artist that recently put out a video, a musician, and like he made a whole speech. He's like, it's not the right versus the left. It's the greedy versus the complicit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
yeah,
like there's that other side of things.
Well, I zoned out for a bit. Did you reference Boondock Saints at all in there?
No, but I should have. We referenced
Right,
it last
so
night
that's
on
another
Conference.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm paraphrasing. You might know it word for word, but the pastor that's talking about how the problem isn't necessarily bad people. The problem is good people, apathetic good people that choose to do nothing. And it's in those moments where choices need to be made. It's in those moments where somebody needs to stand up. And these good people that know what the right answer is, they freeze or they choose to do nothing or they look the other way. Yeah. And that's kind of what actually, that's a perfect example of what I thought about here. I don't know why I didn't go Boondock Saints right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it was Egwene recognizing that moment. And, you know, has this all been talk? Have I been pretending to believe in all this, or do I stand for it right now?
Yeah.
And she stood on her word.
She did.
Yeah.
With consequences and all.
No backing down.
Yeah.
I think we do need to give a little nod to chat here because multiple people said it. Slightly unrelated to what we were talking about, but the always telling the truth part and not being a habitual liar. Multiple people said it's like, it's so much easier. Like you can run into issues by telling the truth all the time for sure. It could cause trouble for you, but it's so much easier. Yeah. I definitely am one. I don't know how people juggle and remember all their lies. I don't have the memory for it. I can only be me. It is what it is.
It's like that. It's
I'm
like
not
that
smart
meme.
enough to be a liar.
It's like the meme where it's like the guy at the interview. And it's like, tell me your biggest weakness. He goes, honesty. And it's like, how is that a weakness? Like, you know,
that's
like,
not a weakness.
It's like, I don't care what the fuck you think.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Damn it, he's good.
Damn, he's good. Fuck what you think. Just being honest.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, good times. Anything from these chapters that we might have missed?
No.
Okay.
These are great chapters.
I'm a tad surprised, though. I think there's going to be some guilt from these sitters that were sitting there with Elida. Even though it happened fast, it was so extreme. I'm surprised they didn't stand up to Elida sooner because they all could channel. And they could have defended Egwene. And they didn't. And I think that's going to play into it. There's going to be some guilt and some shame from those people at the table that sat there, and sure, they were in shock, but they watched it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think they needed it to play out just so they had an excuse.
Yeah.
True. I mean,
very cowardly, but they needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We offered it.
So I would ask, but you know, who's your favorite character and why is it Egwene?
How did you know?
It's the easy pick this week.
If you've got somebody else, feel free, Chris. But I'd be a-okay with everybody saying Egwene here.
Morden.
Okay.
Oh, you son of a gun!
For saving Rand.
Rand. Oh, there you go.
What a twist!
Oh, Min. Yeah, Min. Min's good in these chapters too. Min's good.
Skinny ketchup.
Morden could have ended this at any point in time by just letting Rand die.
Yeah.
There's a greater cause for Rand, or Morden's still a softy.
Slightly plump mustard.
Yeah. Iris in chat made the point about the power of self-preservation and like how strong that pull is. And So I'll add that to why I don't feel bad choosing Egwene, even though it's the obvious pick, because in that moment she was fighting everything to try and save herself, and choosing what she thought to be right.
She is the character of this chapter, of this series of chapters. So
Definitely.
I agree with you when you ask what's next. Like, I can't wait 20 more chapters. Like, I need to know.
We'll get
I was hoping it rolled right into it.
No, we'll get back there eventually. But the next 3 chapters that we're covering, because we're doing 3 again, because 3 chapters. So I spoil you guys. Chapter 17, Questions of Control.
I swear this has got to be an Elaine chapter. They're gonna be questioning. They're gonna be questioning the Amberlin, Elida.
Okay.
Versus Elaine, who's got the better control?
Maybe. Chapter 18
could be a Temerog thing again.
It could also be a Rand chapter.
Let's see, and then A Message in Haste is chapter 18.
Are we finally getting back to Sean Chan and Rand's message getting to them?
Guy. No, I think it's the ramblings of the old man to Min, and Min finally figures out that she's missing some pieces.
Ooh, yeah.
Then chapter 19 is Gambits.
No, that's definitely a Matt chapter.
Matt going to get Moraine. Matt and Tom going to get Moraine.
Going to get Moraine. Okay. Cool.
Hopefully.
That's what we're doing next
Probably
week.
not, but I hope.
Wishful thinking. 3 more chapters next week. So, anyway.
Do they find the unicorn first and then go get her? Or do you think they find the unicorn along the way, like part of the journey of getting Moraine?
That's come along the way.
Okay. Yeah, need is the key, I think. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Need is the key.
In that moment, when they need the unicorn.
It will come.
Okay. Sure.
What do you do to that unicorn? Jesus Christ. Unicorn shows up and you're like, let me do you a solid.
They're trying to find Candy Mountain. You know how it is. Next to the magical Leopoldon.
There we go. I had to. I haven't been childish this whole episode, so I needed to get that in there.
Charlie, we're going to Candy Mountain. Yeah.
Have you checked those chicken breasts yet?
It just beat. We're done.
Okay.
Perfect timing. Look at that. Well, how you can be found is at thewillreads.com. It's a website that has like links and stuff, like the little like things you click on. Yeah. You can get like to our merchandise, get some cool stuff there, or you can go to Patreon, support us. Or you can go like to Discord and chat. Because no butt stuff. What? Someone just said no butt stuff.
Oh.
That's unfortunate.
They must have logged on to the wrong show.
Yeah. So anyways, get in. We're doing butt stuff. I still want to get that T-shirt just so I can wear it to a colonoscopy. Get in. We're doing butt stuff. I'm sure the doctors and nurses will think it's hilarious. Anyway, so. Click on the links, do all the things, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps the algorithms, helps us get found. Now that I'm actually putting episodes out at a semi-normal basis, our numbers are going back up. I think there's a good direct correlation when I like slack off and quit doing my job as a podcast host, and our numbers start to drop down. I'm like, oh wow, Imagine that. So,
wait, so when there's no content, they don't watch our content or listen to our content? Is that how math maths?
That's how math maths.
Very mathy.
It is. Anyway, go do all that stuff. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Subscribing is free and it does help. So anyway, that's all I got for this week. So
until next time.
Peace.
Okay, bye. Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving device ready and strapped on.
Where are we going tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about? Sure.
it.